Would you like to know the top housing market predictions for 2022? Stay tuned. So before we're gonna jump into the predictions, let's review exactly how we did last year, how we closed off the year in December, how the real estate market did in Queens.
Let's get right into it. Looking at the data from OneKey MLS for residential condos and co-ops, in December, there was a total of 4,411 listings on the market. We saw 997 new listings hit the market, which is down about 20% from the same time last year. We also saw 980 contracts, which is up 17% from last year. And lastly, we saw 975 closings, which is 13% up from last year. So on average, these homes were on the market for 90 days before closing.
So the average list price in Queens for single families and multifamilies was $899. The average sold price for single and multis in Queens was $875. For condos and co-ops, the average list price was $375. The average sold price was $360. So as expected, 2021, the prices for residential, single, multi, condos, co-ops was higher than the year before. And you know what, Josh? It was a crazy year, right? For residential, real estate in Queens. Queens held strong and steady throughout the year. And you know what? We're super excited for 2022. So here's what to expect this year.
Prediction number one, no more record low mortgage rates. So this is coming from Chief Economist of the National Association of Realtors. Expect the 30-year fixed mortgage rate to increase to 3.7% by the end of this year. We'll still be below the pre-pandemic of 4%. The increased mortgage rates coupled with inflation is going to eat away at the buyer's savings. It's going to take a big toll on them.
That's a great point, Josh. I think, inflation is at its highest. As a matter of fact, 2020, October inflation was only about 1.2%. And last year in 2021, we ended with inflation of almost 7%.
Wow.
Which is the highest since 1982. So really, the money in the bank, you literally burning them away. You're losing money. And in 5 years, $1 million in 5 years is going to be worth only $700,000. So it's really a great time for buyers to pull the trigger now before the interest rates goes up, before the inflation is going to kick in even more, right? We don't know if it's going to stop at 7. We just don't know where this is going, right? But if they put their money into real estate, into real assets, maybe gold, maybe silver, right? Maybe some bitcoins. While we're talking about real estate, so stay with real estate. That asset is going to appreciate as well because of inflation.
Totally agree with that. It's a great time to buy right now because you want to get in before the rates go up and the inflation, because now it's going to start messing with your buying power. So what you can afford today at let's just say $900,000, within the next 6 to 12 months you might only be able to afford something that's $800 to $850. It's going to mess with that buying power. So it's important to get in as soon as possible. If you can buy, you got to jump right on it.
Do you see this affecting the lower price buyers versus the luxury buyers as well, or do you see one affecting a little bit more than the other?
The luxury buyers, they're not going to take the hit as hard because they have more leverage. They have more money saved up. So it's not going to affect them as much as it would for the lower price and the medium price buyers. I see the lower and the medium buyers getting affected more by it because they're spending their life savings on it. They're working day to day to pay for that monthly payment. It's a little more struggle for them. It's going to affect them more.
And you're right, because they've been probably saving money maybe for 10, 15, 20 years sometimes.
Exactly.
Right? So if your savings is going to go away 30% in the next 5 years, that's big.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It's tough to save up that down payment, So
let's talk about the next prediction, right? The inventory will remain tight. And we do predict the inventory, even though it's going to go up a little bit, but really not by much, only by 0.3%. So the inventory is still going to stay relatively low, and there's going to be really limited choices for the buyers, right?
Yeah.
So the buyers really, they have to get used to the low inventory, and they got to make decisions quick and, submit the offers aggressively, right? And what's going to happen to the prices? The price is going to keep on going up. They're going to keep on increasing. So again, Josh, what do you see in the field in 2022?
What I see is, that the buyers that, wanted to buy last year, that said they wanted to take a break, they wanted to take 6 months off, they wanted to buy next year, right? They're starting to come back now, and they're starting to realize that, the inventory is low, and the reason that they couldn't buy last year was because a lot of them, maybe lost their jobs, just started working back up because you need 2 years,
yeah,
of consistent work history to get a mortgage. So they're starting to come back. Inventory is tight.
And we're in New York City, right?
Yeah.
So really, this is the gateway to get into the U.S. So we got a lot of first-time buyers actually, coming overseas, buying homes over here aggressively as well.
Yeah.
So definitely, there's been a lot of demand. Seems like in 2022.
Exactly. Yeah.
A lot of the buyers, which last year, the past couple of years, I think either were forced, out of the buying process, sort of to say, because maybe they lost the job, or maybe they were sort of hoping for the market to adjust. Like, how many people you think like that is going to be coming back into the market since they know now that the interest rates are going up, and they can see the inflation is really gearing up and eating away their savings? You think there's going to be a bunch of buyers like that trying to pull the trigger?
There will be a lot of buyers coming back because, they still want to buy. That's still the end goal. They don't want to rent anymore. But the problem is that, these buyers that are coming from overseas, or these buyers that have, a lot more money saved up, they're forcing the lower price and the medium buyers out because they're overbidding them. So they're coming in at a lot higher. And what that's doing is that's raising prices up. Raising the price up, interest rate's going to go up. So it's going to be really tough for the lower price and the medium buyers to buy something. So it's very important, if you do have that opportunity, you find that right house for you and your family, you want to jump in and get that home off the market as soon as possible.
So another prediction, home prices will keep going up. And this is coming from a group of top 20 economists and housing experts by the National Association of Realtors. The home prices will be increasing 5.7%. Wow. These numbers are national, guys. So it varies. It's going to be state by state. Some states going to be a lot more. Some states might be a little bit less. So this is average numbers, 5.7%. The home price is going, guys. It's not always a bad thing, right? I understand for first-time buyers, it might be a little bit harder to get into the housing market. It might be a little bit more expensive. But keep in mind, as the inflation increases, your money really loses value, right? So as the home prices increases, you could refi the home. You could pull some money out, right? You could maybe renovate the place. You can maybe buy another property, which I think a lot of investors will do. And we do see that, right? We do see people actually refinancing properties because they've built a lot of equity for the past 2, 3, 5 years, and they're really buying more real estate. So I think as long as the rate stays below 4 or 5%, it's still very affordable. And that's the beauty, guys, of actually owning a real estate, right? You don't necessarily have to sell the asset, because you own actually a real asset, right? You could refi, pull some money out, and maybe go shopping or travel the world, whatever you want to do. But you should definitely, own some assets. Comparison with stocks, bitcoins, and stuff like that, you can't really refi it. You really can't. You either sell it and take the money out. But with real estate, it's really one of the big advantages. When the prices increases, you can refinance.
And guys, the last prediction is about first-time home buyers. Last year, a lot of them got kicked out of the market because of multiple offer situations, cash offers that they lost to, few homes on the market, and the prices that are skyrocketing. Okay. Now, in 2022, you guys have a limited window of opportunity. So it's important, if you're looking to buy, to pair up with an expert, to get pre-approved as soon as possible, right? And if it fits your monthly payment and your lifestyle, pull the trigger and take that home off the market.
So we hope you find this helpful. If you got any questions, drop it below, like it and share, and please don't forget to subscribe.